made friends with someone who knew a guy that 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 was having a party, and I was like, I'm in! I'm popular, Mom! And I called up everyone.
I'm a big man on campus.
My name's Mohnish, and I'm your main host. Welcome to Real Talk. What's up? On the podcast today, we answer a super duper simple question. And that question is, what is the first week of college actually like? And what should you do about it? What friends should you friend and unfriend on Facebook? And on a scale of 1 to hammered, how hammered should you actually get, right? My first week, I was nervous, I was excited, and I was shitting bricks every 26 seconds. It's a good one. Definitely tune in. Yeah, so my favorite thing about this topic is how unqualified Armi is to talk about it. And how insanely I'm not even sure where you're going to contribute to this conversation, Armi, to be completely honest with you. Can you tell the
I've been near a college before.
Can you tell the listener why you're not qualified to talk about any of this and you should be kicked off the podcast immediately?
The reason I'm completely unqualified to talk about this is I never went to college. Yeah, I'm just
you're an idiot.
That's
you're
why.
Idiot.
Yeah. It's relatively simple, right, just like me.
So, yeah. Okay. So the topic for this podcast is basically the first week of college. Me and Kevin are going to say things that we try our best to sound smart, and then Armi's going to come in with a comment. And just if you're listening to this, know that Armi has no idea what the fuck he's talking about. He's going to try to say things to you.
Yeah, just,
so
disregard everything that Armi's.
He's going to try to persuade you of his points and that the thoughts in his head are correct. Just know that it's baseless and don't take it seriously. Kevin, how was your first week of college?
My first week of college blew dick.
Why?
Yeah. Because I did all the wrong things, and I just did not have any fun. I stayed inside of my room. I was not in a good mindset.
This first week is not as cool as I thought it was going to be.
No. I mean, that's what I was saying is I think I had a pretty atypical first week of college. I mean, honestly, like first year, because I was such a recluse. I just sat inside pretty much all the time. And it took me stop fucking laughing, Armi.
Armi, what the fuck are you laughing at?
Doc.
I started laughing when he first said that he... and then I couldn't stop laughing because I was laughing.
Holy shit.
If Armi doesn't know what he's talking about...
What kind of weed do they smoke in San Francisco? Christ.
If Armi doesn't know what he's talking about on the podcast, he's going to derail it no matter what. He's like, if I can't say anything that has any value, I'm just going to derail this podcast.
Everybody else said.
Sorry, giggle fits over.
I was in at the time, what I thought was a very serious relationship. I was super sad because I just wanted to be at home, and I just did not. I didn't put myself out there. I didn't. What's that?
Sorry, you're talking about the first week or first year of college? Kind of both?
Both, but the first week, I mean.
First week.
The first week is when, the huge wave of excitement of, oh, I'm in college now. It's crazy. I'm independent. All these crazy things are going on, and I just did not participate in any of them, I feel. I observed them because I was just an idiot sitting in my room, but, I didn't leave my door open. I didn't really try to socialize that much. I did on the first day. I kind of just walked around, and if I saw someone, hi, I'm Kevin. Nice to meet you. And I'd talk to them for a little bit. And then we would say like, oh, well, we should, hang out sometime. And then we never would.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really did not like this school at all when I was here at first. In the first week, even I was not having a good time.
What about it though? Why did you not?
It was mostly because I just wanted to be home. I was way too caught up in my relationship. I was way too caught up in my friends that I had back home. I was just super sad and pretty depressed for the first week. I don't know. It was pretty shit. Looking back on it, I mean, I really regret pretty much my entire first year of college, but more so my first week.
I thought you were going to be like, so I pretty much regret my entire life. Yeah, no. So that's insane. My first week was awesome, Kevin. So
fuck
yeah. No, I think Army just died. By the way, I don't know what's going on there, but my first week was it kind of started my first week really started 4 months before I even went into college. Basically, the 4 months before, I was nerve-wracking, right? I knew I was going to go to the University of Illinois, and I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know who was going to be there, and I remember like I sort of had this kind of like apathetic attitude toward college in a weird way, and I was just like, oh, whatever happens, whatever happens, and I kind of wasn't purposeful about my first week of college in a way that I kind of wish I did. But at the same time, I remember going to a lot of parties that I was not invited to, and just not knowing anybody. I remember just being
I didn't go to any parties. I didn't go to any parties at all. No. I don't think my freshman year, I went to
the only
single party. Isn't that ridiculous? Me.
Yeah.
Isn't that absurd?
Yeah. The only reason I didn't go to any, or I did go to parties, was because I went to a private housing, which is kind of like a dorm, but not really, in the sense that it's like a little nicer than the dorms, more room, and you got to pay extra for it. And
so was I. I was in Bromley.
Oh, no way. I just, when I went there, I basically made friends with someone who knew a guy that 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 was having a party. And I was like, I'm in! I'm popular, Mom! And I called up everyone.
I'm a big man on campus.
I called up every person from high school. Like, I told you I'd make it!
Mom, I have a friend who has 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 a friend that's in a fraternity.
Yeah. And I just, dude, college is crazy in that way. But the first week of college, I would say the main point I want to drive home here is just to relax and to be open, right? There is an absurd, Jesus, by the way, if you're listening to this, understand that me, Kevin, use the word insane, raw, absurd. We're going to be saying that a lot on this podcast.
I take it too, I think.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a donation page. Every time we say absurd, raw, or insane, please donate a nickel to the Kevin and Mohnish Human Fund. And we're going to be millionaires by the time this week's over, basically.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. Welcome back, Army.
Hey, Army's here.
Hey. For those listening that have no idea, Army likes to drop in and out of conversation now. He doesn't take the podcast seriously. He's like, it's not paying the bills, so I'm going to just log out, log back in.
That's how I am at parties, too.
This party's not paying the bills.
I just yell at them. I wander over.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the cool thing about the first week of college is that this is the big one, right? This is the big, I think the point is that everyone is in I need to make friends mode, and it is your job. It is literally your job to take advantage of that. The openness that people have. I talked to my sister about this, but she basically went to like, I want to say like a ton of different colleges, like for grad school and for law school and all that stuff, right? And she had several first weeks.
Nerd.
she's listening to this, just starts crying. I trust my brother's friends.
I want to take that comment back because she did compliment our last podcast. So
she did compliment our last podcast.
Mohnish's sister, you're not a nerd.
She has terrible taste too.
She's a what? What'd you say?
She's
what?
What
did you just say?
No, I said she has terrible taste too. You said she complimented the podcast. I was like, oh,
God
idiot.
damn it.
I thought you said she had a terrible face. I'm like, you're off the podcast. I was like, you're done, Armi. This is your last day. No,
No.
my sister's a queen, so screw you, Armi, even though what you said was funny. Basically, the really cool thing about the first week of college is that everyone is open. Super open. More open than they're ever gonna be, because everyone is just no one has this closed attitude toward friendships. Everyone, if you just go up to anybody pretty much and say, hey, I'm a human being, what's your name? For the most part.
Hey, I'm also a human being. How's it going, man?
College is basically everyone just being like, I'm a human being. No, you're a human. Hey, I'm a human being too.
Hey, we're humans over here too.
Yeah. Yeah. And the friendships you make the first week tend to have a greater stickiness just because of the people's openness rather than later.
See, that's where I fucked up. I didn't make that group of friends my first week, or much less even my first year. And I really didn't have any lasting friendships until, I mean, other than my roommate, until maybe a year and a half into college or so is when I started to meet people that.
Yeah. I mean, the first group of friends that I had the first week of college, they were not the friends that I ended up hanging out with now, which is right now I'm in my third year of college. And part of that is just because when you're meeting random people, the barrier to being a friend is so low that sometimes you're a friend just because they're two doors down and not because they're actually a good fit with who you are. Right. Like I can obviously, I can say with very good, I don't know what the fuck I was going to say, with very good, yeah. I can say with confidence that me and Kevin, we didn't meet the first week of college. We didn't even meet, I want to say like the first two.
Oh, it was our sophomore year. Like
right.
Probably, yeah. It was a while in college.
But yeah. But as people, we have a really good fit, right? So
yeah. Well, I mean, I don't really like you that
much. But basically, finding people who are a good fit and then happen to be close for you, that's what you want to try to be looking for, right?
Yeah.
And take advantage of that, right? Because unless you're Army, people are going to want to be your friend. You know, people are going to want to be people.
I mean, especially in the first year of college and the first week. I mean, the first week is when you're right. Everybody is just like they have a radar for other people. Like, oh, okay, where can I make friends? Can I make friends over here, over here? And everybody's so social, and it's insane.
The thing is, everyone's goals are the same in that first week, right? Where after a few weeks of going, there's momentum coming on. And people's goals change. But in that first week, everyone has the same goal: make friends, build a social life. And you should absolutely capitalize on the fact that everyone is in the same boat you are.
This is where I just really fucked up. I was not in the right mindset to be at college. I was very much stuck at home still mentally, mostly because I was in a relationship that I was just very, very seriously invested into. And I just... Going back, I wish so. Before college even started, Mohnish, you said that it started like 4 months before you actually came to school, right?
Yeah.
I think it was a similar thing in my head where when I was thinking about college and thinking about thinking that I was going to be at U of I in a couple months, I started to have this fantasy in my head that I was going to like completely the greatest human being at college, and every single person I saw was the first week of school, I was gonna shake their hand and invite them to hang out, and it was gonna be awesome. And my roommate and I were gonna be best friends, and it was just gonna be great. I was gonna make so many friends. I was gonna easily climb to the top of the social hierarchy right away. Right. And I did none of it. None of it.
Yeah. No. The thing was that in a way, college is a beginning. Right. You're turning over literally a new leaf. Right.
Yeah.
And they have this really cool idea in social cognition where basically when beginnings are salient. So meaning when a beginning is like you're very conscious of a new beginning. Right. you're more likely to focus on the future. You're more likely to focus on idealistic things like where's my career going to be going? What am I going to like? You're going to be focused on not less emotional things and more like I want to in novel experiences, right? I want to meet as many people as I can. I want to have the best social life that I can have. I want to have the best career. You tend to focus on the future when the beginning is salient. Whereas when endings are salient, so any kind of whether a real ending, so like when you're going to die when you're 70 or when you're the end of school, you tend to focus on emotional goals. So if you ask a freshman,
do all people die at 70 years old now? What was that?
That's
you're gonna die.
That's the baseline, dude. My dad is close to that, so that freaked me out.
Really?
He's like 60.
Oh, well, okay, that's not that close.
He's got another 10 years.
He's got 10 years left.
He's a 10-year-old away from being 70.
You have 10 years. You have 10 years with your father left, Mohnish. Okay.
Don't say that. About no. But I guess my point was this is getting way too real. This is real talk is getting way too real. No, basically,
first your sister, then your dad.
Yeah. How dare you, Armi? How dare you say she has terrible taste? And then I thought you said you had a terrible face. Dude, that was real anger, by the way. I was actually mad at Armi, and then I realized it said something completely different. But no, so my point is that when an ending is salient, when you're conscious of an ending, you tend to want to, like, the person who's beginning school, they want to meet anybody. They want to meet new people to where it might lead in the future. But but you know, junior years, senior year of college, you want to hang out with your buddies. You'd rather spend time with people that you know and you care about. You'd rather go to dinner, have a lunch out with your sister than have a lunch out with some random person that you want to meet.
It's been super, super difficult to make friendships and form a group of friends so late into college because honestly, I almost want to say I didn't start college this late, but I basically started being a social human being in college, maybe second semester of my sophomore year, which was basically a year ago. And in a year, I've tried so hard to socialize, and I actually really have created a solid group of friends, and I've put myself there on the map socially, but it's been so difficult.
I remember,
and it would have been so much easier if I would have just basically stopped being a pussy when I was a freshman, opened my door, and hung out with people.
I remember first year.
Hey guys, you can come in.
Yeah.
Hey everybody! Opening his door, like come in, come in.
Right. I remember the first 8 weeks of college. I was hanging out with these friends, but I wasn't really. They didn't really do much. They kind of stayed in all the time. And I remember I called up this guy I was working with. His name was Andrew, and I was working for Charlie Hone at the time, who's we've mentioned like too many times here. But I remember calling up Andrew, and we were talking about college, and we were talking about how it's going and whatever. And at one point, I was just like, my friends had left the room, and I was just like, Andrew, I want to talk to you about something. And he was like, what's the deal? And he's like, I don't feel like I have a crew of friends that I can lean back on.
You said this to him?
I said this to Andrew. He lived in Wisconsin, so not where I was.
Yeah.
And we had a working relationship, so we just did projects together. But I just kind of opened up to him. And I was just like, dude, I just don't I don't feel like these are my people, and I mean, I want more right out of it. And he sympathized with me, but he also he had a good group of friends, which is why I was talking to him about it. Uh-huh. And I want to say the first 3 years of college was my quest. Not the first week, right? Not the first week, but my first 3 years was a quest to find the right people. I'm gonna open up a lot about this.
Same here, man.
I'm gonna open up a lot about this. I mean, this is just, like, this episode's about the first week of college, but I didn't find. I mean, it's very possible you're not gonna find the right people in the first week. It's 7 days, right? It's even the first 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever, right? And the point here that I want to make is that making friends, dude, third year into college, insanely hard. Oh my God. Oh my God.
I'll never forget one time. It was one of the first times that you and I hung out outside of Jack. You asked me to go to some random party. It was at your friend's place. And you were kind of just like, oh yeah, like I don't know who's gonna be. And I think we went to a party at one of my friends' places too.
Yeah.
But we both were on a very similar. We had a similar thought process. It was kind of like, hey, you know what? It doesn't matter if these people are gonna be weird or whatever. We should put ourselves out there and just try to make friends and have a good time and whatever. And it's funny because I actually don't think a lot of people have that mindset, especially 3 years into college. I think 3 years into college, most people are very much, they already have their groups formed. They're very much comfortable and familiar with certain people, and they only want to be with those people.
Right. I remember that exact conversation because that was a bonding moment for us, and we had amazing sex after you said that too. So,
walked in all position.
I need to know how you had that in you. Oh my God. Wild.
But no, I mean, so that's the thing. I mean, it was really hard to make friends. And that's the beautiful thing about the first week of college is that, I mean, in 3 years in college, everyone is closed off kind of. Everyone has their friends. Everyone wants to hang. Again, the ending is salient. So everyone wants to hang out with the people that they're with. And so, the first week, everyone is on the same blank slate as you are. And be open to that and do things, go places, right? So, and here's another, I want to say it's called the proximity effect in psychology, but basically very simple. The people that are close to you are probably the people that are going to be your friends, right? They did a study where basically, I think it was in. If you guys read Aziz Ansari's book Modern Romance, which came out, it was. I don't read
Indian books. Sorry.
Yeah, no, but it was in this book where basically in the 1950s, 1960s, before social media and stuff, people who got married were basically almost always like a couple blocks from each other, and it was insane, right? Where now. People, there's couples everywhere. It's like, oh yeah, my girlfriend's in Australia, and that's just a normal, like that's right. And so the key thing to think about there is that the proximity effect is super important. So improve the proximities that you're around, right? Go to places where just go to different events, go to clubs, go to groups, so you can have the opportunity to cement friendships and make sort of the proximity effect work for you, right? And
I just want to add something. I know I'm not qualified to talk right now.
Shut the fuck
up. But you guys are talking about how hard it is to make friends later in college, and it reminds me of that Daniel Tosh joke. It's kind of mean, but it's there's some truth to it. Where he's like, if you're an ugly girl, your life is going to be much more similar to a man. You're going to have to work for it. And I feel like that's kind of what it's like in like when you're first starting college versus the real world. Like when you're actually trying to make friends with people who have jobs and families and stuff like that, like when you're in like the normal workforce and you're trying to hang out with people, it's so much harder than if you're in school. So just to essentially emphasize what you're talking about, definitely take advantage of it. Because once, like you said, I think once you're in like the last year of college and you're trying to make friends, it's much more similar to the real world because everybody else already has their little friend circles that they want to hang out with.
Yeah. So when I came into college, I'm pretty much, I'm an introverted person, but you really wouldn't know it at this point. I think I've trained myself to have an outgoing, outward personality. But, I was an introverted kid. I was the whole college thing, being thrust in this new environment where there's tons of people everywhere and I'm by myself. I was out of my comfort zone 100%. Yeah. And instead of embracing that displacement placement into an environment where I'm not comfortable with it, I just kind of shied away from it. And I just stayed in my room and like played video games and watched movies. and look how stupid it was because I missed out on potentially almost 2 years of having fun and meeting new people and doing cool stuff, and I just totally missed out on it. So if I could go back in time, I would so capitalize on that first week of college because so many people were social. I mean, I'll never forget the first person that asked me to hang out in college. I'll never forget. I was walking in the hallway. This was probably a couple days into moving into the dorms. And this girl walks up to me, and she's just like, "Hey, what's your name?" And I'm like, "Oh, hi, I'm Kevin." And she's like, "Oh, well, a couple friends of me,
was
a
she
couple
the
friends of
blonde
mine."
girl we saw in the gym?
Yes. And this was such a powerful thing because 2 years later, this girl probably has no fucking clue who I am. But me and Mohnish and I saw her at the gym a couple weeks ago, and I was like, she interacted with us. I think she was waiting for a machine we were using or something. But after we walked away, I was like, that was the first person that ever asked me to hang out in college, and I have like a mega high opinion of her because of that. It was such a cool thing.
I remember someone knocked on my door and he was just like, "Hey," and then I said, he was like, "Yeah, my name's blah blah blah, and what's your name?" And for some reason, I was just fucking with him. I only did this to him, and I said, "Yeah, my name's Juice," which is a stupid nickname. It's whatever. Just as a joke, he laughed. He's like, "That's not your name." And I'm like, "Yeah, it is." Anyway, I tell everybody else that my name's Mohnish. No one remembers that shit. Everyone's like, "Juice this, juice that, juice this." And I become Juice for basically the first year of my college life. But yeah, I know that first meeting is incredibly important, not just because you think highly of them and because they open the gateway, but also because if you tell them a name, it's going to fucking stick. Kevin, did your mom and dad cry when you... My mom did not shed a tear. She was a savage. She was a savage. Literally,
my parents didn't give a shit that
Dude, I was expecting there to be an emotional reaction. I was... Justin, my best friend from back home, his parents...
They were...
Hi, Justin.
Super happy.
His parents... basically, I think, cried a little bit when he left. And he remembers his first day at college. He tells me he just remembers sitting in his bed the day he left college. And there was this profound sense of independence because, like, his parents were gone. And he just thought to himself, I can do anything I want. I don't have to go to sleep. I can do copious amounts of hard drugs. I can jump off.
Big fan of that.
I can meet anybody I want. I can do these novel experiences.
Why not?
That was not one of the things that he was all about.
But I never had that overwhelming realization because I was just way too mentally connected to my hometown and
the reason
my girlfriend and my family and my friends, and I didn't allow myself to embrace the independence of being away from your family at college. I really never allowed myself to do it.
Right. That's why I brought that up, because he had an amazing first week of college, right? Mm-hmm. And I wonder if it was that profound awareness of the situation he was in and letting go of sort of the past, and just being open, right? That's the big thing, man. Being open. To the whole. I think
that's all. I mean, first of all, I think that's how life should be. I think you should be as open as possible to new experiences and constantly putting yourself out of your comfort zone. But I think that first week of college is one of the first times in a typical person's life. A typical person that goes to college where they suddenly can just, there's all this crazy new things happening and they have the opportunity to put themselves out of their comfort zone and just basically do new things and have new experiences. And that's what the first week of college should be about. It should be embracing that craziness of being in this totally foreign environment and situation. Yeah. And that's just, if I could go back in time and give little freshman Kevin advice, it would just be, well, first of all, I'd punch him in the dick and say, stop being a pussy. And then, okay, now go out, talk to you.
Right in the dick, huh?
Yeah, right in the cock. And,
give him a good cock punch for him.
Just a little cock slap, just to teach him a lesson,
Yeah.
I mean, I wish it's funny today, like, two of my closest friends lived in the same building as I did, like a floor above or below me, I forget. And I didn't meet them until 2 years later. And they're two of my closest friends that I could have met them if I would have just been so.
My now girlfriend lived first year of college, same dorm.
Really?
Yeah. Shout out to Justine. Yeah, be open, relax. I know it's nerve-wracking. Don't do what we did.
Yeah, I was just a fuck up. Freshman year fuck up.
So everything we said, do the opposite, essentially. Is your note-taking ability so bad that you dropped out of 3rd grade and now are living in your parents' basement? Awesome. So when I listen to podcasts, I never take notes because I'm never in a position to actually take notes. If that's the case, go to www.realtalkstudio.com. Again, that's www.realtalkstudio.com and sign up to be a Real Talk Insider, which is basically an extremely fancy way of saying sign up for the free email list, as well as getting episode breakdowns with summary, notes, and an action plan from each episode in a beautiful PDF. Definitely do that. It's the best. Special thanks goes to Armi for helping out with research, Kevin for helping out with editing, Vishali, my amazing sister, for helping out with content, and CJ Beats for the music. This is Real Talk, signing off.